Welcome. This is a practice exercise video for Indie Learning Music Tutor, Inversion Utilization. This is the keys portion of it for anybody who's a keys player. We're doing dual camera here, so once I start rolling the secondary camera, we'll just be focused on the keyboard here. I'm just going to go through the fingering exercises for the C major, C minor, and C diminished, and then go through the fingering exercises for the 2-5-1 in the key of C for the triads. That is the focus of this video. First exercise, we're going to find our C major chord on our left hand, on the bass side of the instrument, and then a C major chord 1 octave up for our right hand. Okay. Now we're going to take that C major and we're going to move up 1 inversion. So our thumb's going to go take the place of that other C, and our ring finger or pinky can go to the high C, an octave up from our previous high C. Okay, and then we're gonna go down to do the second inversion, and G, C, B. Okay. Now you'll notice how they all sound different, and that's important. But for now, the exercise is and remember to go at your own pace, and then do it on your left hand, your right hand, sorry. Then we go to C minor, okay, first inversion, and second inversion. Okay, and then we go finally to diminished, first inversion, and second inversion. I know in the PDF I suggest mixing and matching them. I'm not going to show that here because I am not that good yet. But once you get very comfortable with creating these inversions on command, the next thing, the next step is then to have one inversion in one hand and one inversion in the other hand, like good, we're still on camera. Like this, to give a richness to the chord. You know, you could we could just as easily go, you know, double up the chord, but having that high C in there gives a little more richness to it. So there's exercise 1, going through major, minor, diminished over a single chord. Now you could also go through other chords. You could do D major and D minor and D diminished with both hands, of course, you know. And work through them throughout all of the keys. But now we're going to move on to the second part of the exercise for triads, which is doing chord changes. When I talk about a 2-5-1 over the key of C, we have a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then the octave C. Now each one of those has a chord built on it. That's covered in the harmonization of the major scale video that I did a while back. So I'm not really going to rehash all of that information. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you we're doing a 2-5-1 in C, which means that's a D minor, right? A G dominant, or well, a G major in the sense of a triad, and then a C major. Okay, now it should be painfully obvious that this is a lot of motion to be doing. So it's pretty obvious that's a lot of movement, especially if you're doing this two-handed, and then you go up to D, and then you go down to the do. It's a lot of movement. When we can use inversions to minimize that movement. So we do a root inversion here, right? Now, what do we have to move to make this into a G? Well, and then what do we have to do to make this into a C? So instead of doing all of that movement, what we can do is we can take our root position here, and then we change it over to the second inversion to make that G major, and then we go to the first inversion to make our C major, completing the 2-5-1 run. Similarly, we start on the first inversion of D here, and then we can just as easily move over these two notes to the G, and then go to our second inversion for an ascending feel, like and finally, we can go with the second inversion, and then, in the same sense, go to the first inversion of our G major, and then finally finish up with the root position on the C major. And just get practicing with that. Just get comfortable with that. Try to get comfortable with it with both hands as well. First inversion for the D brings us to root position for the G, and second inversion for the C, and second position D, yes, inversion D, first inversion G, root position C. You'll notice that these triads will always follow that inversion schedule. The 2-5-1 will always follow that inversion schedule where it's root, second position, first position. So if you're doing a different key, you could just easily translate all of that information by remembering the way it goes. So happy practicing, I guess, and I will see you on the next video. The next video will be 7th chords. Also, keep an eye out if you are not a keys player. I am going to be doing backing tracks for you to be able to really hear the inversions compared to each other. Thank you for joining me. This is Harry Felker at Indie Learning Music Tutor.